Imagine yourself waking up into the morning after a long summer, and it's your first day of high school. Your alarm goes off, and you keep hitting the snooze button since you're still tired, since you're still very sleepy. And after several snoozes of your alarms, you finally start to wake up. And as you're waking up, you look at your clock, and it says 6:30 a.m., and you realize that you might be late to your class at 7 a.m. Being late to class is not the biggest problem you're going to have to worry about facing. The problem that you're going to face throughout the day is trying to stay awake throughout the whole day you're at school. After the fact that you only got 6 hours of sleep the night before, after a long summer of having the habit of going to bed late. And believe it or not, this is the reality that many students face every single day, not getting enough sleep each night due to the fact that the school start time is really early, with school starting as early as 7 a.m. The National Sleep Foundation states that 80% of Americans in grades 6 through 12 have not been getting enough sleep each night. And the Better Health Channel article states that teens have only been getting 6 to 7 hours of sleep each night when they really should be getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night, as a result of the school start time being as early as 7 a.m. Therefore, today, I'm here to convince you that all K-12 schools across America should start school no earlier than 8:30 a.m. First, I'm going to explain the problems of sleep deprivation among students and the problems of students going to school with sleep deprivation. And second, I'm going to explain what is causing sleep deprivation among students. And third, I'll explain the solutions and how we can stop sleep deprivation from happening. First, let's explain the problems of sleep deprivation. The Los Angeles Times states that sleep deprivation among students has been leading to them being unproductive in school, doing their homework. They spend 5 hours a day doing their homework when it really should take 2 to 3 hours a day of doing homework, all because they're just tired and sleep deprived after a long day of school. Many students have a hard time concentrating in class. Many of them even fall asleep in class. Many of them start to gain weight, they start to feel depressed, and many of them are just not alert. And the lack of alertness can lead students getting into car accidents. A study in Kentucky and Virginia scientists reported that there have been 65.4 car crashes per 1,000 teen drivers a day, which is a lot of car accidents to happen in one single day. And in a 2007 study, colleagues reported that middle school students in New England at schools that started at 7:15 a.m. were 4 times as tardy compared to schools that started at 8:37 a.m., which is a big difference in attendance rate. And the causes of sleep deprivation among students is with classes starting as early as 7 a.m. Therefore, when students have the habit of going to bed late, they don't have enough, it doesn't give them a chance to sleep in a lot due to the fact that the school time is so early. They don't have enough time to get ready for class, and this is due to the fact that they're going through the phase in their life called the melatonin shift, and where teens induce hormones which makes them not sleepy until as late as 11 p.m. But yet, they still need at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night. Another cause of sleep deprivation is that teens have been drinking caffeine a lot to stay awake. Caffeine only keeps you awake for a little bit. Caffeine stays in the body for up to 5 hours a day. But in the end, once it wears off, it makes you feel sleepy. And even if caffeinated kids manage to fall asleep, caffeine worsens their sleep quality. And therefore, when their sleep quality keeps getting worse and worse, bodies keep inducing hormones, which keeps making them sleepier and sleepier and sleepier, and therefore, which can really affect their health. And now that we explained the causes of sleep deprivation, now let's explain the solutions. Some solutions we can do to stop sleep deprivation from happening is bring attention to the CDC and explain the importance of sleep among students, as well as bring attention to the school administrators. Even though starting school later may affect bus schedules and make them a little bit more complicated, there is a consideration to know that sleep is the most important thing among students, as when students go to school and not being able to learn, it kind of defeats the purpose of going to school. The main purpose of going to school is so students can learn and have a good education in the future, and therefore they could have the degree they want. And another solution we can offer to stop sleep deprivation from happening is turn off technology as no later than 10 p.m. Therefore, it gives teens enough time for their minds to wind down, so that way when teens are ready to go to bed, their mind is not constantly stimulated by electronics. And then teens can also set a bedtime routine in which they should sleep no later than 1 hour on weekends. So therefore, teens won't have to adjust their sleep schedules by 3 to 4 hours going into the weekend and coming back into the weekday. And then teens can also stay away from caffeine. And like I mentioned, even though caffeine can help the mind be more alert, that caffeine is only temporary, and therefore when it wears off, teens will become sleepy again. And if we bring attention to the CDC about the importance of sleep, and if schools start times start no earlier than 8:30 a.m., then the graduation rates among students will improve, the tardiness rate will decrease, the car accident rate will decrease, and the car accident rate will decrease from 65.4 teen drivers, 65.4 crashes per 1,000 teen drivers to 46.2 teen drivers per 1,000 teen drivers as a Virginia study mentioned. And I hope you took the time to listen to why students' sleep is so important, as it's so important to everyone's health, and therefore it helps the mind develop. Thank you for taking the time to listen.